Sharon, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question is, I'm just joining. I think I joined last month, but I'm actually just getting on.
Cool.
So I'm in the process of actually, my husband and I are writing a book on based on trucking and marriage and all of that because we've been in trucking for a long time and we've been married actually the 37th of March of last month. We're at 32 years that we've been married. So thank you. So it's a lot that we can actually can contribute to people, people that's been married for a while. So I've been studying different things, and now I'm ready to just dive into what I need to do. We're actually going to be working. I'm actually working on our first book. So we want to be able to see what is it that we need to do. Been hearing that you need to get a tribe together first before you launch your book. But I also know it's important to deal with the marketing. So what tips, I guess, can you give me, or which direction do I need to go into first?
Okay. So is the book like your main product?
For right now, yes. I do want to create some apps, and that's why I joined your group. Um,
Okay.
create some apps to go along with that because of course in trucking as well, my biggest fight has always been all of those receipts that I have to scan and deal with. So I would love to create an app to be able to pull all of that information in together because I haven't found an app that does that, dealing with, I don't know if you're familiar with Data, of course your banking and all of that. So pulling all of that stuff together, I want to call it a mess, pull all that stuff together to be able to just be able to create a good app where you can spit out some reports and send it to your CPA.
Okay. Yeah, you might check Chris McLean, he's in the group here. He's doing a thing for married couples trying to deal with their finances. It's like it's like budgeting without having a budget, and he teaches a class on that. I'm pretty sure he's got access to some kind of an app where you can do that. You can scan all the receipts and do that because that's part of his program. He basically tells people, he goes, I don't want you to create a budget. He said, I want you to just spend like a drunken sailor, just like you're doing now, but keep track of it so you can look at it. And basically, the idea is you keep track of it for a month, and then at the end of the month, you look at all the crap that you bought, and you don't need a budget. You just self-regulate. You're like, oh, okay, I can see where the money's going where it shouldn't be going. And that's kind of the gist of his course, and it's really cool. And it supposedly works really, really well, and I could totally see how. So he might be somebody that you might reach out and have a conversation with, see if somehow what he's doing might correlate with you. Maybe he might be part of your back end after you sell your book, or maybe you look at what he's doing and model it, and then that could be your product, your back end. But it's really important. Like with a book, if all you have is a book and it's a dead end, you're going to sell so many books and then you're going to hit the end and it's going to expire. Basically, the shelf life of your business will expire at that point unless you just have a, massive amount of new people coming into that arena constantly, which you might, like that's a case with diet. Diet's a perfect example of an evergreen, never-ending flow of new customers because you've got, probably 10 different points in any given year that could trigger somebody wanting to lose weight. A birthday, an anniversary, uh, all of the holidays, swimsuit season, you got all these trigger points throughout the year that would spur someone to want to do that. So you have a flood of new customers constantly over and over and over. If that's the case, then one product might do it for you, but it's not the norm. And it's not what I recommend. I recommend multiple income streams, even if they're not your own. That's the way as an entrepreneur you build a safety blanket around you. Like I've had customers in the past that had an item that all of a sudden something changed in the economy and all of a sudden that item was no longer wanted or needed. This is the case with luxury. Like if you're selling luxury items and all of a sudden the economy takes a radical downturn, all of a sudden luxury items go out the window. That's the first thing that gets cut. So all of a sudden they're sitting there and they got no business and they're like, uh-oh, now what? If they had multiple streams of income coming from all these different directions, they wouldn't have that worry. And when the downturn took place, they can just take a break. They can just take a breather and then look at other opportunities and build more income. They're not dependent on that one stream. But I would say, like, if the book is your main thing and that's what you're trying to get off the ground, it's like any other product. It literally is. You're going to need to sell it. So you're going to have a presentation. The book isn't just going to fly off the shelves. I don't care what anybody's told you. Sales are difficult. This is the biggest stumbling block that most businessmen, businesswomen, and entrepreneurs make, is they underestimate the job of making a sale. They literally underestimate how difficult it is to get someone to pay for something. That's not easy. I very few products have just off the shelf demand enough for people to just want to buy them and actually go ahead and proceed and do buy them. It is a process to get someone to purchase your product, especially in this day and age. Like none of us really have anything unique. There's nothing really truly unique. We're all packaging something that is available somewhere else and trying to sell it. And a lot of markets are huge. There's room for new products. But again, the job of the sale is not easy. You're going to have to follow a procedure to get them to exchange money for value. And it follows the ACT program. That's why I created the ACT program. It's the roadmap for making sales by using marketing. Because I don't know about you, but I don't like sales. I do not like presenting my product and asking for an order. That is the least appealing thing in my day. And if I got up in the morning thinking, wow, I'm going to have to go out and make sales today, I'd probably just pull the covers up and just hide out. I don't know if I'd even get out of bed if that was my deal. But the cool thing about marketing, when you figure out marketing and you create like a home run marketing campaign, that makes sales irrelevant because it's doing everything that a salesman would do, but it's doing it on autopilot. And it comes down to the fact that when your marketing campaign does what it's supposed to do, the sales will come in and then it will be easy. But it's by no means easy without that. And making that marketing campaign is by no means easy, but it's well worth the effort. And it's a pretty simple process. It goes like this. The first job is to grab their attention. Obviously, prior to grabbing attention, you've got to do the analysis on the market segment. You have to understand what drives that person so you can grab their attention. If you don't do the A part of ACT, that's the analysis, you can have a really hard time selling anything. Because that analysis tells you what segment of the market you're targeting, what's the most profitable segment, and who specifically in there is your ideal customer. That's if you go into the Quantum suite, there's a tool called Build a Buyer. And right to the left of that Build a Buyer tool, there's one called Market Segmenter. That is where you literally would start. You want to segment your market, figure out what the most profitable segment of the market is, and then take that data to the Build a Buyer tool and figure out who your ideal customer is. It'll give you so much detail. It's like it puts you inside their head. You can know what they're thinking at that point. And with that data, now you know what's important to them. Now you can create a lead magnet that will grab their attention and bring them into your funnel. Once you've grabbed their attention, the next job, this is where your presentation comes in. Either you're going to give them a long form sales page, or you're going to do a webinar or a video sales letter or something. Some people like to do a schedule and then they want to talk to them. I would prefer just to make the sales than have a bunch of conversations and do sales presentations. But some people love that. That's fine. But it's a presentation no matter how you slice it. And the job of the presentation is to create demand and desire, eliminate objections, and make an offer. If you do those things, those 4 pieces, if you can grab their attention, create demand and desire, eliminate objections, and make an offer, that funnel is going to make you money. That funnel is going to sell your stuff. I don't care if it's a book or a painting or a house or a village. I don't care what it is. That is what's going to make the sale. And outside of that, there's not really a lot going on. A lot of people underestimate, like I said, they underestimate the job of making a sale. And when you do that, it really costs you time and it costs you money, because you're sitting back and you're thinking, oh, well, sales are going to come in. I don't have to try. I've done my thing. I built this thing. It's great. It should fly off the shelves. Well, I ain't gonna. I'm here to tell you, it's not going to happen like that. And every second you sit back and those sales aren't coming in, that's a day of your life that you're not going to get back. Right? I mean, the reason we're here is for freedom. It's not to sit around in a jail cell. And that's what you're doing when you sit back waiting, expecting things to happen that aren't going to happen. You're literally burning a day of your life. And I can assure you, when you get I don't know how long you're going to live. I don't know, how long you're going to make it. I don't know how long any of us are going to make it. But when we get to that last day and we know it, we know, okay, this is it. We're looking back on our life. You're going to want those wasted days back, and they're not going to be there. There's no way to get it back. So time is the only thing we can't buy more of. It's precious. Don't waste it. Don't waste sitting around wondering, oh, should I do this? You should absolutely do it. You should do it with all your might as fast as you can. So
I guess what I didn't add to that is we do want to build a community, because we want to do some coaching or
okay.
mentoring rather. So that would be one aspect of it. Like
Okay.
I said, the aspect was, to build we're just starting with the book, building the apps that could go along with,
Sure.
figuring out, the different areas that we could build an app to help people.
Yeah,
So
building a community is a great way to go, because once you've got the community and they're engaged, it's super easy to bring them new products, even if they're not your products, and make money off of them. I would encourage you, though, if you're going to build a community, don't take the easy way and go and build it on Facebook. Don't use someone else's platform to build your community. Build your own community. Maybe you build a free community on Facebook, but it's your free version of the community, and all it is just a lead generator. Don't put your good stuff on there and have that be your home. Have your home be your private community where people pay to get in the gate, and then they pay to stay in the gate. That's where all your value is. You can drop those nuggets out in the free zones, but you're pulling them into yours. They want to become part of your tribe, not a Facebook tribe. I see people, make that mistake all the time. And all these social media platforms, they're very finicky. They might love you today, but then all of a sudden tomorrow they might decide they don't like you and they'll just kick you out. So that that's a very, very dangerous place to build your house. You're building it on quicksand.
But would it be similar to maybe building, and this would be my last question because I know you have other people waiting, but maybe like doing something, a membership thing on YouTube or
There's
something?
no, you want to build it on your own domain.
Okay.
So there's a lot of software out there. There's WordPress plugins where you can do it. I use Kartra myself. I run my membership site on Kartra. It's a great program to run your business on. But you can do it like if you have a WordPress site, there's different plugins you can do to manage communities on there. But like I said, I use Kartra and it works phenomenally for that. And it's built right in. You can do the payment gateway. You can take payments to allow access. It's really a cool program. If you need help with that, we've got videos inside the members area where I go through and I show you how to build that. And I've actually got templates for it that will help you get up and going if you decide you want to use Kartra. Because you could literally take a template of my whole business and put it into yours and just reframe it, rebrand it, and off you'd go.